Hey guys, what's going on? This is David again. Hey, it's been months since I had a chance to talk with you guys. When last time we spoke, I was still on active duty. I retired back in October of 2020, and a lot has been done to the car since then. I apologize for not updating you guys, but let me go ahead and show you what we've done to the engine, to the car since the last time we talked. So if you remember the last time we were on, I had the anemic 305 that was in here. We have now put in a 350 board 60 over. The block turned out pretty good. I've got a set of factory Vortec heads on the engine. There's a 680 quick fuel carburetor. But again, this is what I was able to build in my garage, and it's pretty strong. It's pretty strong. I've also rebuilt the front end, so it doesn't look like much. It's a little dirty, but we've put all new bushings in the upper lower control arms, had them painted, put some new suspension parts, put the tie rod ends, new tie rods, new springs, all that's been put in. Like I said, it's a little dirty right now because I've been driving it, but this is plus the pollen. And so this is what I was able to put together since the last time we talked. We're going to replace the manifolds with some long tube headers. So I've got some long tube headers I ordered from Jegs. I soaked down the bolts, just letting them soak a little bit. I'm gonna break those. I'm gonna take my time doing it. It may take me a day or two. I'm gonna have to cut the pipes and make some modifications to the exhaust. But that's the next project. We're gonna put some long tube headers on this 350. Do the unboxing. These are the small block Chevy headers from Jegs. I call them Jeg Specials. Pull these out. And there they are. Like I said, these are the ones that were on sale. I think they were $139 on the Jegs website. I'm sure they're not the ceramic coated, but I'm going to wrap these so that we can keep the temperature down in the engine bay. And so we're going to go ahead and prep to get those old manifolds off and put the new ones on. We've got the collector. What comes with the kit is obviously the two headers and I think these are 2.5 inches. Then you've got your gasket, manifold gaskets, and then your these are header bolts. And so these are the collector bolts right here. So that comes with the kit, and it also comes with a set of manifold gaskets, header gaskets. So, and these are just for this particular outlet. So, all right, we'll go ahead and start breaking this stuff down and see what happens. All right, I got the manifolds off. That was pretty easy. I'm gonna pull that dipstick, and I went ahead and plugged up the spark plug holes and exhaust holes. I was gonna buy some header wrap tape, but man, that stuff is $100 for 2 rolls. So I just went ahead and ordered some from Amazon. So my recommendation, if you buy some headers, just go ahead and buy the header tape online. If you try to buy that stuff locally, they're gonna tear your face off. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side just like this. And I'll finish this job up probably on Sunday or Monday, because my parts will be in on Sunday. I may work on it Sunday night. I'll probably do the wrap Sunday night, and then we'll probably do the install of the headers on Monday. So I'll get everything taped up, make sure nothing crawls in, and we should be good to go. All right, guys, listen, I got both the manifolds off of the engine, so that wasn't that difficult. So I plugged in the little hole where I have the temperature sensor. And then obviously you got the starter down there. I'm gonna have to cut these exhaust pipes down there. They were fitted for the factory exhaust. I don't know if you can see it that well. It's the passenger side, this is the driver's side. So what I'm doing now is just kind of dry fitting the exhaust. What I decided to do is I'm gonna wait. I ordered some header wrap for these. I'm just gonna wrap these up because I'm concerned about heat soak for the starter and then around some of those wires. So I'm just gonna wait for that header wrap to come in. I went to a parts store. The header wrap was like $50 a roll, and I need 2 rolls. I'm like, I ain't paying $100 for 2 rolls of header wrap for exhaust wrap. So they had some on Amazon, and I'll put the links in the description. I bought 2 rolls of 50-foot, 2-inch by 50-foot exhaust wrap for 30 bucks. So I'll get those in, wrap them, get them tied up real good, and we'll get that squared away. So I went ahead and taped up all the holes just to make sure I got plenty of room. I think I could probably get those headers from the bottom. I'm gonna check that out and see if the headers will fit best for the bottom. I tried to go through the top, but bumped into a bunch of stuff. I'm gonna try to go from the bottom and see what it looks like. All right, guys, I'm doing the mock-up right now. Looks like everything's fitting pretty good. I got the driver's side on. No real problems, just had to go from the bottom. It would not go through the top, so didn't have any problems with clearance. Looks like getting the spark plugs in, getting the bolts in should be relatively easy. So like I said, plenty of clearance down there, so didn't have any problems. Had to take the starter off as usual. Had to take the starter off, and you can see that back bolt's probably going to be fun, but believe it or not, didn't have a lot of problems. Had to take the starter off, like I said. Starter's off. I had to cut my pipes, so the exhaust pipes are cut, and so I'm gonna have to do some more cutting, but I just wanted to get that muffler out of the way. But clearance wise, got a lot of clearance. I think we should be good. Like I said, the starter, I'm gonna try to figure out, I'm gonna have to wiggle the starter in through that way. Did have to pull my sending unit out, so I just kind of plugged it up. It's dripping all over the place. It's probably gonna be all gone by Sunday. But like I said, I'm gonna pull these out and I'll get them dried up and wrap them. So I'm concerned about the heat soak and the wires. I don't want to cook those wires in any of these lines and hoses. So we'll just get some more wrap. Oh, also want to get some wire wrap for the starter wire, so we don't have any problems with that. And like anything else, guys, you got to make sure you disconnect your battery. Didn't have any problems, but I just was thinking about the ART. And again, these are just in here temporarily, just to hold them in. I've got some header bolts on the way. I ordered some new plugs because I broke a couple of them when I was taking the other side off. I forgot to take them out. Thought I could have some clearance, but I didn't. But this is a pretty good fit, pretty easy fit for the 4th gen Nova. Shouldn't have any problems if you guys want to do it. So we'll finish recording, clean this engine bay up some, and then we'll show you the wrap whenever it comes in. All right, so we are now in the process of I decided to spray my headers, and so I took them into my storage building. I thought it was going to rain some outside, and decided to scuff them up real good and put down some primer and high heat, some exhaust primer and exhaust high heat paint. So this is the VHT flame proof primer. So I prepped them real good, wiped them down with some lacquer thinner to get some of the fingerprints and oils off of the metals. And after I sprayed it, let it cure for about an hour and a half, and I came back with some VHT flame proof primer. So it's supposed to go up to 2,000 degrees. We'll see, but I did that just so I could make sure what was going on underneath the header wrap wouldn't corrode the metal too quick. It's probably going to corrode some, just not that bad. So just letting them dry now. I think it turned out pretty good. Just dusted them. I did 1 can of primer for both, and then a can of paint for both. So they turned out pretty good. So my tape came in. It came in. I ordered it on Thursday. It showed up Saturday from Amazon. This is the lava rock fiberglass stuff. I guess it wouldn't be fiberglass if it was lava rock. But this is the Amazon special. I'm sure it's not like the $50 roll that they had at the parts place, but I got 2 rolls of this. 2 rolls came with it, and also the zip tie bands, the metal bands that come. I got 2 bands, all that for 30 some odd bucks. Just go on Amazon, you can get these. This all came in the kit. If you buy the wrap and those bands separate from the parts store, you're going to be out of a whole bunch of money. And so just keep that in mind. I also went ahead and bought some Moroso header bolts. Those were like I think it's like 17, 18 bucks for a set. I'm gonna have to use one of my original bolts for the power steering Just put a spacer in the bracket to support the bracket. But yeah, so I'm gonna wait until these dry, and then we will start with the wrap. I may wrap them this evening, I may do it tomorrow, we'll see. But everything's coming along pretty good. All right, guys, so we're gonna do our header wrap now. We're gonna do our header wrap. So just so everybody knows, I got my masks, got my long sleeves, and I got my gloves because I've read enough about this stuff. It's fiberglass. I hate fiberglass. Fiberglass eats me up. So this is the header wrap that I ordered from Amazon. We got 2 rows of 50-foot, 2-inch header wrap, and we also have enough metal ties to clamp them down. So that all came in a kit for about 30 some odd bucks. If you try to buy this stuff from the auto parts store, you're gonna spend about 50 bucks a roll, and then you have to buy the ties separately, and then you have to buy the tools separately. So I bought the tool, but yeah, all of those metal ties and the wrap, 30 some odd dollars. So I highly recommend you do that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start wrapping my headers. They've dried, they're good to the touch. Again, I just painted that black high heat paint just to kind of slow down any rusting and corrosion that might be taking place underneath the header. I also bought some of this silicone soak. Okay, this is the high temp silicone soak just for header wrap. So once we get it wrapped, we're gonna shoot it and wrap it so that it kind of protects it. So this is DEI, it's pretty good. So we're gonna put that, it says up to 1500 degrees resistant, and it's a flat black finish silicone soak. So we're gonna soak that down whenever we get finished wrapping them. So we're gonna go ahead and start wrapping. Go ahead and start wrapping. All right, guys, finished this first one. It probably took me a little bit longer than it should, but I think it turned out pretty good. If you look at how it was done, I started down here at the bottom, kind of folded it underneath it real good, and then had a 1/4 of an inch overlap as I kind of went up it. So I think that turned out pretty good. I think where I kind of had a little snag was when I got to the top, I didn't have enough material folded underneath. And so instead of using just 1 clamp, I used 2. Didn't need to, but I just wanted to make sure I was on the safe side. So I used 2 because you can see it was fraying underneath. So to keep it from fraying even more, I just used 2. I think next time I'm gonna have to fold it under some more material so it doesn't fray under. I crimped it underneath it and pinched off those metal wires under the header so that you couldn't see it. And I also made sure I had enough room so that I can install my header bolts when it's time, because if you ought to ran it all the way up to here, it might have made it a little difficult to get those bolts in a tight spot. So yeah, so that's how it's coming along so far, and we will finish wrapping them and we'll see what happens. Also, what I decided to do was just unravel the whole roll. I know a lot of people struggle with making sure they have the right edges, right amount pre-rolled, and it's kind of a headache trying to pull it through, but I just want to make sure I don't waste any. I also tape the edges of this because it will fray and come loose. So I just got some masking tape, taped the edges so that when I run it through the pipes, it's not fraying as I break it through, and then it gets a little messy. This stuff is fiberglass, man. This stuff will itch you to death, but I've double gloved these right here, so I'm doing pretty good. I'm not itching yet. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish these. But yeah, just wanted to let you know how I'm handling. I've seen a couple of videos where people were trying to get a general length. I just went ahead and unrolled the whole darn thing. It's like 50 feet. I know it's gonna be a headache. I'd rather do that and have enough than cut it too short and waste it, because this stuff is, this one wasn't expensive, but I don't want to buy a $50 roll to fix a mess up. So all right, guys, just wanted to share that with you, just a tip and trick on how to handle this header tape. All right, so I finished the wrap. Man, this thing kicked my behind. It took me a good 2 or 3 hours just to do one because I was taking my time and just trying to figure out how to best do that one so it didn't look obnoxious. But I think everything turned out pretty good. I used a couple of extra ones, like I said, up in the number, it's gonna be the passenger side, so it's gonna be the number 4 bank. And I didn't put a whole lot up by the front of the collector because I want to have enough room for the manifold bolts. So I didn't go all the way to the top. I just didn't want to do that. I don't think it's going to make that big of a difference. This is where the majority of the heat's going to be anyway. And I didn't wrap too much down at the bottom. It's going to be under the car anyway, so not that worried about the heat. I'm just more concerned about this, probably the starter. Is where my heat soak's probably going to most likely do. But just had to find ways to wrap it. And like I would just tell anybody, just plan this thing out. I didn't waste any. So to keep from wasting, I just took my time, and I think it probably took me 2 hours to do this one. But hopefully this won't take me as long. So I'm gonna do the other ones today. We're gonna look at getting those installed. But highly recommend going on Amazon, buying the $30 2 rolls with the metal strips for the ties, and just take your time and do it, and I think you'll be happy. I like the way it turned out, and we'll go ahead and finish doing the other one and get them installed. All right, guys, this is day 2. After I got my headers wrapped, I finally got them wrapped. I made a video with the wrap. I'll probably sit there and make a separate video for that one. But I had no real problems, just a little twisting and turning, but I got them in here. You have to get this thing literally 2 feet off the ground. If you think you can get these headers in there and not have 2 feet on the ground, you're a ventriloquist. Or you're a contortionist, I'm sorry. You're a contortionist if you think you can do that. But I was able to get them in. Really no problems, got plenty of space. The only issue is I got to get the bracket for right there. I mean, that's probably about 1.5 inches. Little small bracket for the power steering pump. Whenever the old factory, when they had the factory manifolds on there, there's enough manifold to bolt it to. There's a long bolt. So I'm going to have to use one of my older bolts to run through the bracket so it'll bolt in. But like everything else, the number 7 and the number 8 bolts are so difficult to get to. So that one, I was able to get hand started, and I think I've got a wrench long enough to get in there, or short enough to get in here. That's a 7/16 header bolt, 3/8 inch. And so I was able to get it started. I got the one up front, I got that one tightened. The one on the other side of these 2 tightened. And also I've got that one tightened. But like anything else, there's number 8. So I got all these tightened except for number 8 back there. Number 8 is I got it started. It took me about 20 minutes. You can barely see it. But I got number 8 started, but I can't get a wrench back there. I know there's some wrenches or some solutions where you can bend a wrench to get it in there, but you cannot get a socket of any size in that space. And I specifically left enough space, and I'm glad I did, between the header, between the collector and where the tape is, so that I can have enough space to maneuver some wrenches or a socket, because you definitely need it. You cannot run that tape all the way up to the top. And I probably could have put some more right here, but I ran out on that roll, and I was like, bump it. We're just gonna, I'll maybe wrap it, another time, but we just need to get them on here before it gets dark. So I'll clean that up. I'll get another piece of wrap and wrap that on there. But for the most part, I got those headers on. Now what I'm gonna have to do is get the flanges welded to the existing pipes. I'll get that done probably this week. I want to buy some more heater hose since I've got it disconnected, so I'll probably buy some more heater hose. I got some new spark plugs, got some more NGKs. I'm running NGK R55s. I don't know if you can see that. I'm sorry, TR55, the V-Powers. Since these heads are from a 98 Escalade, so these are the 062 Vortex, so you can't just put the R45s in there. You need to go with a longer shank plug like this one. Obviously this one was running rich, because I found out the reason why it was running kind of rich, and I was adjusting the carburetor, because I had a bad manifold gasket leak, and I didn't know it. So it was running kind of funky, and I figured out why, because the vacuum was all over the place. So just remind everybody, man, check those header bolts, check those exhaust bolts every now and then after you build an engine, because they will back out, and you'll find that your vacuum's low. You probably have a vacuum leak. You check all your vacuum lines, don't understand why you got a vacuum leak. Then you realize that you got a hidden exhaust leak somewhere, and it doesn't sound like it. But I think we've got it. So like I said, guys, I got the headers on. Like I said, not too bad. I'm gonna clean this area up.
I'm gonna get the dipstick and everything in. I'm just gonna take a break for tonight. I'm gonna tape off everything. But I'm happy, man. I'm happy I got this thing installed. And once I get everything up and running, we'll show you what we got. All right, guys. This video here is for those who had to fight to put the header bolt in the back on headers on a small block Chevy. This is an X-body Chevrolet Nova, 1976 Chevrolet Nova. Same situation as with the Camaros. This is a 4th gen Nova, but that 70s, 80s year model Camaro. Any small block that's close up to the firewall, it's hard to get to the header bolts on these. And these are the Allen head bolts, where a lot of people have suggested to purchase the Allen head. And so the Allen head, the way it would go is it would go in like this. You have the Allen head set. You basically buy your bolts, Allen head bolts, and it comes with a wrench, with a tool, and you're supposed to put it in, and it gives you the option to kind of pivot and tilt so that you have some room to give it torque. Well, I can't fit it in that number 8 space back there. What I've seen people do, or read people do, will take a wrench like this one, either cut it in half so that they have room to use with their fingers, or bend it at a 90-degree angle, and then that way they can use the wrench at a 90-degree angle. I'm not gonna do that. But what I did was I fashioned this crow's foot on a wiggle joint. I taped it and put it on a ratchet. And so what you have to do is you have to kind of position the crow's foot opening at a place where you can kind of maneuver. So I'm gonna put it right about here. Turn it again. Right about there. You can get it on there. There you go. There you go. Once you get it on there, you just take it, turn it, and it's turning. So it's gonna take you a little while, but this is how I was able to get to that back header bolt on the number 8. So I'm gonna take another 10 or 15 minutes of turning, but I'll get it tight, and then we'll have our header bolts on, our header on real tight. So just wanted to share that to you for all you guys that's struggling. All right, guys, I finally got all my headers bolts bolted up. That number 8 one is tight all the way. I made a separate video. You can see that it'll be in the list. I've got all my header bolts tightened, and my headers are installed. So the next thing I'm going to look at doing is welding the flanges on. We'll get that done later, but I'm just want to show you guys what I'm doing here. I'm obviously going to have to make sure I've got enough clearance for the spark plug wires, but I think we should be good to go there. But hey, we got them installed, guys. And again, I hope this video was useful. Again, 1976 Chevy Nova, 2-door base coupe, 350 small block, 350 plus. And yeah, we'll get it started up, and once we get it started up, we'll see how it sounds. All right, guys, this is the getting the flanges put on. So what I did was I bought some 2.5 to 2 inch reducers to put on the flanges that came with the kit, and so I just went and welded that on. So probably not the best weld, but I thought I did a pretty good job. I'm not a welder, so I just cleaned it up as best I could. I know some of you guys are probably expert welders and expert YouTube critics. That's not me. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut this pipe to right about here. I'll get it measured off, and I've got a pipe extender to open that pipe up. I'm gonna take this off because this is on here kind of loose, because I'm just trying to get my measurements. I'm gonna take this off. Once I get this cut, I'm gonna spread this pipe out. I've got a pipe spreader, and I'm gonna insert this into the pipe, weld that on. Oh, you can't even see it. I'm gonna cut this part right here. I got it kind of dry measured right here, so I'm gonna cut that, get my pipe spreader, spread the pipe. I'm gonna take this off, slide it into the pipe once I get it spread, weld it, and then we'll just connect it back up to the header. So I did the other side as well, or did the other side. So I just got to cut both of these. I'll get these measured, get the pipe spread, and then I will insert the flange into the pipe once I get it cut, and then we will we'll go ahead and join it up and get everything cleaned up and fired up. All right, guys, we got all the headers installed. I'm gonna let it do its first heat cycle. When I pull out of the yard, it barked the tire. It's never done that. So these headers have had a huge impact on horsepower on this thing already. I can already feel it. I got to tune it up a little bit. Get the carbs and stuff straightened out since I got the headers on. But I'm telling you, it runs great.